It's Sunday, and when I think about tomorrow, I think about the work shift that will take most of the afternoon, then the other virtual call, like an hour after it, but there's at least one phone call I have to make before all of this, so it's going to be a busy day. Am I going to be able to do all of this? I'm really going to frickin' try. There's at least 3 phone calls, well, 2 for sure, maybe 3, that I need to make like sooner than later. This first one is really, I should have made it last week, I didn't, and now, like, I found out Friday just how serious that situation is. I have to get it taken care of, and I'm not going to trust that the attempt that we made too late to actually find anyone in the office is going to get it fixed. I'm going to follow up with a phone call tomorrow. Like, that's, if there's a phone call that I need to make tomorrow, that's it. And there's another phone call. There's probably a lot of phone calls I need to make, actually. Phone calls, online forms to fill out. I mean, I moved almost 3 weeks ago. I need to, like, get address changes done. I filled out a change of address card for the post office, but, like, I need to, there's 2 places in particular I've got to either contact or fill out a form saying, hey, well, not a form, but just go in and change my profile and say, hey, that's not my address anymore, this is. And I'm going to give this place one more day, see what happens tomorrow. If things happen tomorrow like they happened Thursday and Friday of last week, I'll be making a phone call to that place on Tuesday. Well, I'm about as ready for today as I can be. I don't think I'm going to get any more sleep this morning. I've got, first of all, to eat something, to make a couple of phone calls. I don't know, maybe I'll be able to go back to bed between then and the meetings, but meetings / work shifts. 2 meetings. One where we all get together, another where some of us get together and just free work, but we're still together. That's just the way we do things in my virtual office. In other words, my office that is run by and in which I work with other people, so I have to do what they want me to do. Anyway, I could really complain about that, and I do really complain about that, but I also have to be grateful that at least I don't have to physically report at noon to a location that's half an hour away from where I live. I mean, that was the situation 2 years ago, so for the fact that it's no longer the situation, I have to be grateful. But the bottom line is, I hope I have enough energy to do it all, to last as long as I need to give my best to my work if I'm getting up now. I never know what my body will do, because I've pretty much forced it to do what I felt like I had to do for most of my life, and now I'm kind of learning all over again to listen to it to what extent I can. It's a journey, it's a lesson, it's a process, this thing called life. And sometimes I don't know how much to talk about in these videos and how much not to. Some things might make sense, some things might not. Some things you might want to hear about, some things you might not. Some things you might agree with, some things you might not. Well, whether you agree with things or not, you know what, if you don't agree with what I say, unsubscribe. I mean, I'm living my life the best way that I can, learning and honoring what works for me, and if anyone doesn't like it, they can go back to their huge portion of the big, wide, mean world and leave me the hell alone. That's my attitude right now, because I've tried to fit into the real world and live up to unreasonable expectations my whole life. No more. Okay, I don't even know if I'm going to put that last comment in the vlog, but it is
9:33 a.m. and 21 seconds.
9:33, and I could be resting a little bit more, but I'm not sure what the point is, because I know I'm not going to go back to sleep in the next half hour, and I wanted to at least be up and going. Now's what I'm going to call it a morning, at least for now. Okay, I guess I did. You're going, Annie, what the hell are you doing? I thought I opened this food, and apparently I didn't, so I had to cut it open.
Air frying for 6 minutes at 250 degrees.
Now, I know I heard my work phone babbling out here earlier. I don't know how much of it I'm going to leave in the vlog, but I'm going to go ahead and take a look at these notifications, find out what they are.
9:35 a.m. 3 notifications.
Uh-huh.
35 minutes ago. Chat. 3 hours ago. Mail. Yesterday.
Okay, this phone just sat here and read all of them, I guess.
Messages. 100. Messages. Edit. Back button. Back button. Conversations. Button. Chat. Undo.
Two of them I'll deal with. One of them I just pretty much marked as read, and hopefully that got it out of the things that it's going to notify me of. I'm probably still going to end up calling that place. I keep getting texts from a school that I don't even have a child, let alone one in that school. I think whoever had this phone number before I got it, like 4 months ago, used to have a kid in that school, and they never updated their phone number. Okay, I just moved 3 weeks ago, and yes, I am still in the process of alerting people to my change of address. But if I had a kid in school, one of the first things I'd do if I changed my phone number would be to tell them what my new phone number was and tell them to get my old one out of there, out of their records. And, you know, people deal with what is their priority. You know, for me, my priority was making sure that the services that I count on the most, my caregiver / personal assistant and the company that she works for, the aging and disability office, the door-to-door transit service that I don't really like to take but will take in a pinch, the more convenient door-to-door transit service that I love when they're available but they're not always available. My first priority was to make sure that they had my new address. There are other people that it's just as important to let them know about my new address, and I'm slowly getting around to getting to them. But if I had a kid in school, I would think that the kid's school would be pretty high on the priority list of people to say, hey, I have a new phone number. This is no longer a good phone number for me. But since the parent in question evidently has not done that, I'm going to have to do my own version of it, which is going to be calling that school and saying, listen, I don't know what parent you're trying to reach, but mine is no longer a good phone number for them. I'll do it very civilly and nicely and, calmly. They have no idea. They're just trying to get a hold of this parent. But they need to be told that they can't keep texting my number and expect that parent to get the text. If they could, I would call the parent myself and say, hey, when are you going to change your phone number in your kids' school records? Tell me how to forward a text. I've got tons of texts to forward to you. I don't know about tons. I actually turned my text message notifications off because of this. Because I was getting texts for this other individual. And then last week, I found out that my workplace, some of the people at work, not necessarily my workplace, and yes, I do plan on changing my phone number with my workplace. The phone number they have isn't necessarily bad, it's just I now have a work number, and I figure having a work number probably will mean, in a lot of cases it will mean, giving work my work number, because although work can call me on my personal number, certainly some people on this team, I don't necessarily want them to have my personal number. Some I wouldn't mind giving to them, but others I would just as soon they not. So I am going to update work with my work number. Of course, again, if they text me on my personal number, at least that's still a good number for me. I'll get it. Not very many people from work call me because we do everything through email and chat. But the bottom line is now I find out that one of the teams that I'm a member of also does text messages. And I was like, well, if we do text messages, I suppose I should turn my text message notifications back on. And as soon as I do, what happens? Texts come in for this other person. It doesn't say who they're trying to reach necessarily, but it says enough about them that I know that they've got a kid in this school and that they really should update the school of their new phone number. I can't do that, but I can call the school and say, hey, this is not their number anymore. It was a really high priority, and then I noticed that I missed a call that I believe is from this school, and if I did, then it may have been the school trying to get a hold of this parent, and I'm hoping that the school was trying to get a hold of this parent, and not only could they not, I'm hoping the secretary actually heard my voicemail that says, hi, this is Ann, blah, 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 job title for workplace, like I specified. That's how my work voicemail starts. Hello, you've reached Ann so-and-so. This kind of worker for this location. I'm sorry I missed your call, blah, 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 blah. I'm hoping the receptionist heard that and hung up on my voicemail and thought, okay, I need to take this number out of here because clearly it does not belong to the person that I'm trying to get a hold of. I'll know that they didn't if I get another text like the one I got Friday afternoon. And now I'm getting texts that look like they're just generic, like, notifications. At some point, I'm probably still going to call the school and say, look, this is not their phone number anymore. How do I stop getting your texts? Can you take me out of your records and stop texting me? Or is there something that I need to do to get out of your auto-generated text message program? But in the meantime, the problem with having your recorder in your pocket. Every movement, you get this adverse noise that I don't like, and I don't know how to stop it. I don't really wish I was an octopus, but I kind of do, because octopuses have 8 arms. Do they have 8 hands at the end of each arm? I mean, not 8 hands at the end of each arm, but do they have a hand at the end of each arm? I need like 8 hands. One to carry my recorder so it won't do that. One to carry like my cane, one to carry like, one to hold someone's elbow. Unfortunately, God only made humans with 2 hands, so you gotta do what you can do and make it work. One cool thing I learned over the weekend. Did you know if you use a Bluetooth keyboard with your smartphone that you can actually enter numbers, like make phone calls with your Bluetooth keyboard? You open your phone app, you go to the keypad, and then enter using your Bluetooth keyboard the numbers that you're looking to call. And then for iPhones anyway, you can hit the enter key or the return key and the call will go through. Now, to direct that call to be placed on speaker or hang up the call, I don't know how to do that using a Bluetooth keyboard. But that might make it a little bit easier for those of us who obviously can't see the screen or can but have crappy hand-eye coordination and think you're hitting the 5 and you're really hitting the 0. I don't know if hand-eye coordination can ever be that shitty unless you have a visual impairment or some kind of either visual or cognitive issue that you just can't dial using a touch screen quickly or effectively. Smartphone users hack, because every smartphone pretty much that we know of is this flat piece of glass that has no buttons whatsoever except like on the sides of them. Like, you know, the days of the phones with a keypad are 95% over. I mean, you can still get your hands on a phone with a keypad, but not nearly as many people have those anymore as smartphones. Of course, it's also true that, I mean, how many people actually remember a phone number anymore? Because most places you can write the person and their information into your phone, and all you have to do is tell your phone, call so-and-so. But there are going to be times, like when I call this school, I have the phone number written down, so I'll probably just call the number, and when I do, I'll be using my keyboard, because it's just, in my opinion, now that I know I can do it, a more efficient way to enter numbers into a phone. Of course, if you have a number in your contacts and you want to call that number, all you do is say, call such and such a place.
We are unavailable to take your call, or you've reached us outside of business hours.
Darn it. It's the middle of a Monday morning. I haven't reached you outside of business hours. I wonder who in the office left that. That doesn't sound like either of the managers. Oh well. I'll probably either try... One of these times I'm probably going to end up leaving a message. Or maybe... I mean, I'm hoping I'll get lucky and try to call again and actually get through, because I'd actually like to talk to somebody. I'm really looking forward to this one. Not. But I've put it off for long enough, and it's one of those things I have to do. I don't want to do it, but I'll never want to do it, and if I don't do it, it'll be a problem. So better to just do it.
To start, stop, move service, or for construction-related matters, press 3. To start service, press 1. To stop or discontinue service, press. Our associates are assisting other customers. Your expected wait time is about 9 minutes.
Well, I'll just sit here and wait for 9 minutes then, because if I hang up, I'll get distracted, do something else, and we'll go another 9 days without this phone call being made, and this phone call needs to be made, so. This should have been one of the first things I did, but it's alright. I'm doing it within the first month.
Our associates are assisting other customers. Your expected wait time is about 6 minutes.
Okay, well, I guess it is changing. That was the longest 3 minutes of my life, but maybe not quite the longest of my life, but it was a pretty long 3 minutes. But I should be able to wait this out. Hi, I just moved back into a place that I had lived. I lived here for so long, and then the building went through a massive renovation, and I said, I'm not living here with that happening. So I moved out. The renovation is now done. I'm back, and I need to put the power back in my name. The account was sent back to the apartment building, I guess, and they've been paying for it. Basically, I'm saying it needs to be taken out of the apartment building's name and put back into mine. Okay, that's taken care of. I'm not looking forward to the results of that phone call actually happening, but
95% charge. 95% charge.
it was one of those necessities of life that just had to be done. I might try to make that call one more time before I have to go to work.
11:17 a.m. and 29 seconds.
I've got about 45 minutes, give or take, before I've got to start work. I'm not looking forward to this new electric bill. I wish while they had been going through the renovation, they had rethought their rental plan and included power as part of the rent, but that's never been the way it's worked around here, and I'm not surprised that it still isn't. It'll work out. It'll work out. Well, I'm not gonna vlog the call, but I called apartment management one more time. They actually answered the phone this time, and I'll say this. I followed up on the paper we handed in. We put it in the right place, but they hadn't looked at it yet. And within 15 minutes, the person's coming to fix the problem, so they responded very quickly once I got through. And I've got less than half an hour before I've got to go to work. I'll probably just pretend that they're not here and go to work unless it gets done that quickly, but I probably won't be talking to you guys again until after work. Okay. I have a feeling these days are just going to be exhausting. I had the work shift and then just ate something, went to bed, got a little bit of sleep, woke up, showed up for the other thing I had today. Not really like I should have shown up for it, but I showed up for it, and now, I mean, the day's almost over, and I'm glad it's almost over. And I'm not sure if I'm going to vlog more or not. I'm going to merge all this together, edit it, cut it down to size, and see what kind of time we're looking at. Yeah, we're at 25 point something minutes, so I'm actually going to wrap it up here. I should just realize that pretty much daily vlogs is what I do. I don't do week in the... If I'm going to do like 1, 2, 3 days worth of vlogging, I need to do individual vlogs for each one. Probably. I will say that I didn't get a text from the school about, like, specifically about, I don't know, your child, you know, whatever happened with, I don't know, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to those texts. But I did notice last time I got one that they said, please call the office at, and then they left a phone number, which I wrote down and intended to call and say, look, you no longer have a good phone number for whatever parent you're trying to reach. And I still could do that, but I didn't get a text today, so either everything was fine with the kid, or the receptionist realized, okay, it's worthless to keep texting this number. Clearly, this no longer belongs to this parent. I'm going to take this number out of here. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And until then, thank you for listening, watching, and I'll see you in the next video, whether that's tomorrow or some other time. Bye.